time to get in touch with the divine. Hopefully you can hear me. It's a bit loud. Shout out to Organic. And so today we are working with some new decks. I love that. I love that everybody's sending the decks, showing the decks. That's beautiful. So as always, first we start off with calling on the ancestors by using smoke. You can use incense, sometimes Native Americans use cigarettes, tobacco, different things like this. But you can use many things. Today I'm using Palo Santo. Chilling here. Good alchemy. Making magic. Dear universe, source, creator, spirit guides, angels, ancestors, archangels, aliens, all of those who are working with us for the highest divine frequency of only the most beautiful love and light, highest messages of clarity, truth, and love with only the best intentions for the highest divine outcome. And so it is. Thank you. Gratitude for all of our ancestors. There has been so much information coming in. So, the crowning energy, look at that at 222. The crowning energy of this deck is the world or the cosmos. So again, this is number 21, which is equaling to 3. So this is about manifestation. You have to forgive me. I know the camera's over here, but I'm seeing it because it's sideways. So, because it's just so loud. I hope you guys can hear me. Anyways, okay. So the crowning energy is the world of cosmos. So this is about the ending of one cycle and the beginning of another, right? It's also about manifestation. What are we manifesting? Okay, new world with the help of the cosmos, right? So this deck is called Muse Tarot. First we have the Fool. Okay, this would be 0. Okay, 333 at 333. How about that? This would be 0. So this is about taking the leap of faith, right? It's like just taking the ladder. Now I'm not very familiar with this deck, so today we're going to talk about intuitive tarot, right? Once you understand how tarot kind of works, or if you're looking at the art, you can start to read it more intuitively. Now, I can teach you guys all types of tarot, but intuitive is where we are just listening to the voice that comes within, right? When we first look at the card, you know, what is it that stands out the most? Now I see, oh, the light is coming at this heart of light, right? So it's like light or love is coming directly from the heart, right? This is about the Fool. So this is about the leap of faith. This is about going, this looks like actually like a river or a waterway to the cosmos. So it's like she's beginning to float off of this sand or this dry place, this desert, you know? It's like climbing up and heading towards the light, towards, I would guess, the cosmos, right? Towards a new beginning. So where one thing ends, a new beginning can start. And what is the second card? The second card is the Two of Emotions. Now in this deck, they've changed a little bit. I was just reading a little bit this morning about how they're explaining it. And so for the emotions, this will be cups. For inspiration, that's wands. And then what is it? Voices is swords. And materials is coins. So once you understand the base of the tarot and what's going on, you can understand a little bit more. So the two of emotions is the two of cups. And so this is about, again, more intuitive, right? What are the colors? It's like the emotions are starting to stir, right? Starting to mix, starting to come together. You're seeing two fish here, two people here, right? Two is partnership, duality, something like this. Stripes. So this could be talking about just the balance, right? In Bali, we have what's called the Bolang, and just so you guys can see, today we're doing a reading on a map of Bali. But in Bali, we have what's called the Bolang, and it's basically black and white checkers with gray. And what it is it's about finding the balance or duality, right? It's about understanding that both is required, right? That there's both light and dark. It's not necessarily, it can be considered light and dark, but it's about learning how to dance with your demons, right? It's about understanding and not hiding or pretending that something doesn't exist. So that's what I see here. That's what comes to me here. With the stripes, also, two is about partnership, right? But it's also about understanding the duality, about understanding that both of us, all of us, possess both masculine and feminine energies within us. So it's about finding the balance in between those as well. Okay, then we have the seven of emotions. So this is about, it's like, generally the seven of cups is about decisions. It's about having multiple choices, or it's about having options. So what I see in this card, obviously, what do you see? But it's like, sea, there's a lot of fish in the sea. Now there's choices, but when we're tuned in to a higher frequency or light, I think it becomes clear to us that there is no option, right? The option is following your intuition and or your heart, right? And then we have the devil. Now 15. Now what you see up here is something like a butterfly, and here is more like a fiery abyss. So it's like the devil, now this is generally the card of Capricorn. And the reality behind this is that I think a lot of people kind of misinterpret this card can be misinterpreted in a sense where, it's more of like what we're allowing ourselves to get stuck or tied down to in the physical realm, right? This is representatory of the physicality of everything, right? So it's like, are we going to the fiery deep, or are we seeing it as a transformative, right? Are we meeting? Are we learning to dance with our demons? Are we learning to see what they are, to celebrate them, and to become the butterfly, right? Are we willing to rise from this, right? Because this is also the energy of 6. So 6 is about giving and receiving. So again, it's about, here, it's like the beginning and the end. So it's like, how much are we taking, how much are we receiving, and how much are we giving? Now, this can be, I think, also like being with this card, right? It's like this can be having too many options or too many thoughts. Overthinking things can put us in this mental construct, right? In this mental constraint. And that can cause a problem for us. So it's like when we are ready, right? This is the Fool. This is like the leap of faith into partnership. When we are ready for this, right? Are we still overthinking? Are we still overthinking this? Are we allowing for this We allowing for this to happen, or are we allowing for the transformative, like the butterfly, to enter? Then we have the Ten of Inspirations. So the inspiration is supposed to be like wands. Now what I see, these look like, I'm not sure if they're like cow or buffalo or what, but 10 is like the completion, right? So like what I see is like we have so many vessels of inspiration, right? Never ending vessels of inspiration. 10 again is the beginning. One is the start. 0 is the like not necessarily completion, but it's like a reset, right? So it's like, what do we see here? We see inspiration that is ever coming, ever going, right? Now, normally the 10 of Wands would be, there's a lot of work, but it's like, yeah, there's maybe a lot of work that needs to be done, but as long as we're staying in this mode of using, focusing on our inspiration, look at that at 11:11. Hello, whoever's watching. Now we can look at this as there's an abundance of inspiration, right? There's an infinite amount that we can tap into, right? And every time one thing, maybe one thing ends, maybe something else is ready to begin, right? There's always more, right? Sometimes when some things move forward, right? There's still more to come. There's always more to come. So then we have the 8 of Inspiration. So normally this is about messages. 8 of Wands is normally about messages that are coming in. Now what I see here is the sun, right? When we step into the light. Now 8 is about, this can be abundance. This can also be like learning, right? It's about both. But generally this is like messages. So this is to me, about 12:22. To me, this is messages coming from spirit, coming from the ethers, right? It's like all of this, the duality, the messages, everything coming into the physical, right? This could also be we're getting abundance that we're receiving from spirit world, from allowing ourselves to connect with the spirit world, from finding the duality, or maybe not the duality, but finding the balance, right? It's like the spirit coming into the physical, right? The sun is shining. Here we go. Now we have 11, which is justice. So it's like maybe the justice, right? 1 is the beginning, right? Also 2 can be the duality. So, maybe the justice is coming in the fact that we can find the light within the darkness, right? Where if there's not any dark, then there can't be any light, right? You wouldn't really see it. It would be more invisible, correct? So when we embrace the all that we are, right, then we kind of crack open what is from the darkness and the light begins to come through, right? That's where we see or we seek the light is in the dark. That's where it's most visible, right? If I went out and turned on a light when the sun was out, we might not see it. But if we're doing it, look at when the moon is out, then it's now illuminating all of the things that have been hidden, right? That's what the moon does. Paramisi, I'm recording. Suksuma, yeah. So anyways, when the moon is here, Paramisi ibu, ata coaster because any tidak bagus ini. Ada any? No, I need like a coaster, yeah. Tolong because it's yeah running semua ya.
Tidak panas? Apa saya mau tutup?
No, bagus. Just any for this I bisa di sini.
Kausan apa?
Yeah, just coaster ya. Semua. So anyways, we see here the moon, right? And the balance comes from when we can connect right? From when we can connect to the cosmos, right?
You only have pick one here.
Suksuma, yeah.
Wali.
She wants the thing not on the ground, but it's getting the cards wet, so I have to put it on something. Excuse me. Then we have the Ace of Inspiration. So this is the Ace of Wands, right? So it's like where we're growing. We're growing in our thoughts and our mind. That we're being inspired. Where something might have been more stiff or harder to deal with, now we're actually having, it's turning into rainbows, and it's just, the one or the ace is the beginning, right? This is something, this is a new start. So it's like now we're inspired by new things, right? And here I get a lot of energy because this is more like Native American or tribal energy, right? Because you're seeing the cactus, you're seeing this. You're seeing this kind of energy. So it's like, what's happening is like when we get messages of inspiration, then we can make justice happen by coming up with new ways, right? By coming up with new ways or new ideas, new types of inspiration on how we can achieve these things, right? I think a lot of it, what the angels are telling me, is a lot of it breaks down to how we're looking, right? A lot of things have been done, have been being done the same way for an extended amount of time, right? And so now it's like, okay, we're working into a new path, into a new world and everything like this. And so it means we have to think about how we're doing things a different way, right? Think of a new way. This old way maybe is dry and desert, right? And the new way is maybe more like this, right? This is the past. The desert is the past. Maybe the growth is the future up into the cosmos, right? Now, how do we get there? Now we have the Knight of Emotions. So this is about, so again, there's no gender in the tarot, right? It's about the energy. So if we have the Knight of Emotions, so this is about, knights are what comes rushing in, right? And so again, we see here the Fibonacci, the shell, right? And emotions, this is cups, so this is soul or emotion. So what we're seeing is we're finding an emotional balance maybe between the masculine and the feminine, or maybe we're also seeing the ability for this to come into the feminine, right? Because if we look at the Fibonacci, I was speaking to my friend about this yesterday, the rectangular aspect over that creates the Fibonacci sequence is actually the masculine form, where the spiral is actually the feminine form, right? So it's like one is more hard edges and one is more flowing, right? And so it's like, okay, well maybe what we're doing is we're rushing or we're moving in, right? We're moving into this more feminine energy, right? We're moving up. We see the bubbles and we see everything kind of coming up, rising, right? We're rising in love, right? This is solar emotion, so we're rising in love. That's how I see it anyways. Because the pattern of the water has changed. Now it's not going this way, it's rising, right? And the reason why I also feel that is because first there's inspiration. So it's like there's a new thought, there's a new train of thought, how we are handling our emotions, right? And then we have the Queen of Emotions. So this will be the Queen of Cups, right? Now we see her, she has beautiful. Now see how the balance is very centered on both sides. She's got the 3 here, and these are sea urchins, right? So she can see, she is the seer. We have all these beautiful sea creatures. See, oh, look right here, I didn't even notice. There's a little person up here. I don't know if you can see this. Let me see. One moment, please. There, can you see it? There's a little person up here, and the water is so calm, right? So now the water is calm, the birds are coming, she's stepping into the sea, and becoming, being able to see, right? See, being able to see. She looks calm. She doesn't look anymore. Now, if you've been following my channel, sometimes she can look like she is annoyed. Sometimes she can look like she can see everything. Sometimes she looks happy. Here, she looks calm. She looks at peace, in balance, right? She can see all of these things. So what this tells me is that inspiration, right? Through justice, through messages, through inspiration, we're able to actually move forward into this better state, this better emotional state, smooth emotional state. Now, the second cards that I pulled were these cards. I believe they're called like the Mother Earth or something like that. I don't have the book for them, but first we have the Flower of Self, 29. Again, this is like the number of 11, and that was funny at 2111. So the Flower of Self, this is about, again, it looks like the flower of life, right? It's like everything is coming back to this. Everything has already been worked out. The honk as a confirmation, don't worry. How do we get there? By practicing gratitude, 44. This is forward motion. Again, this is the number of 8. So it's gratitude. To receive abundance, right? We have to practice gratitude. We have to be grateful for the things that we have in order to be able to receive more. It's also really important that we choose to share the things that we love or that inspire us in order to receive more. And that's why I do these readings, to give information, right? Because I love working with people. I love helping bring people clarity. And so why not, right? So then we have 8, another 8, the nautical star. And look, you see, again, this Fibonacci coming right through, right? So we have the nautical star. And this is about, it's kind of like the compass rose, right? It's like, do we know which way? Sometimes we chart courses, and sometimes we trust our intuition, right? Sometimes we already know that everything has kind of maybe been mapped out, or sometimes we know that when we learn to go with the flow, that is the direction that we need, right? To not be so rushed or forceful about making things happen, but allowing ourselves to kind of go with the flow or move in this forward motion. Then I came over here, and I'm not sure what these are. They're like the Sacred Mother Earth. I visited my friend, and she gave me some of these old cards. She was a bit concerned because some of the oracle cards don't have all of the cards. However, they're not the tarot, so it doesn't require, I think, all of the cards. It's more of like a thing. So, Sacred Mother Earth being the first, a message of love. She sent a message of love on the east side. That's where I met my remembrance. So, looks like the Green Queen coming out of the sea, remembering. What is she remembering? Resurfacing past feelings or emotions. So again, the sea is the emotion. So it's like, what's super important that I think people put off a lot, or that they cease to give space or energy to a lot, is basically the fact that we have to feel it to heal it, right? We have to be able to feel how all of these things are. It doesn't mean we have to go back and suffer, it's how we choose to experience it, right? And once we can feel okay about it, or once maybe sometimes we need to cry or scream or laugh or whatever, laughing apparently is the best medicine according to the divine. Now we have Night Wind. So the Night Wind says facing fear, subconscious release, and healing. So again, when we face our fears, when we learn to maybe listen to the breeze or whatever, then it allows us, right? When we face our fears, like things that we have feared before, due to exterior circumstances or cultural programming, telling us that we couldn't, or we have to fear, or we have to keep doing these. People keep telling me that, don't do this, don't do that, go here, go there, and I'm like, I'm just gonna keep doing what feels good to me because it seems to be working for me thus far. When I listen to other people is when it starts to get not so comfortable. So we have then we have reflection, and how about that? Look at that, self-examination, right? So illusion, self-examination, and I don't see what the last word is. But this is the energy. Oh, so here we have the numbers that have energy. So the Sacred Mother Earth is 42, so this is a 6. This is about reciprocity, right? Giving and receiving. 21, remembrance. Okay, 3. Okay, so this is about more manifestation. 23, this is 5. So this is indefinite change, right? So it's like the winds of change, right? So it's like once we face our fear, the winds of change have come through. With this number 23, it's equaling the energy of 5, which is indefinite change. Reflection, this is the energy of 14 or 13, so this is 4, right? And so it's like we're moving forward. We're moving forward from the illusion, right? From the delusion, right? Or we're seeing that part of the illusion or things that are making us not feel good are kind of a reflection, right? If we start to see things as a reflection of self, and instead of being super judgmental, but really seeing the things that we still see within ourselves or others that make us uncomfortable. Then we have the tree of life. Okay? Fertility, creativity, destiny, magical blessings. So now on here you see so many things in the tree, right? We see the heart, we see a cross, infinity knot, a star, a balance, more hearts, right? And this is about blossoming or blooming, right? It's about, now if you watch another one of my things, you'll see that the tree of life, of knowledge, of good and evil, all of this, right, is also named or referred to as Zoe. So this is the more that we can study, right? The more that we can find out about ourselves and about things, right? Researching things. It's about not always just believing or judging something when you first see it. Now, a lot of people do this, but obviously it's not the right way, correct? Then we have harmony, power, self-confidence, productivity. So she looks like she is like a tree as well. We have the star here in the center. This would kind of be similar to the wish. So it's like, what do we wish? We wish for the creativity, the destiny, the flourishing, the harmony, right? We wish for all of that to become. So then down here, how do we achieve that? So back to the Muse deck. First we have 4, the Emperor. Okay? It's about creating new structure, reframing, rebalancing, right? Now the Emperor doesn't have to be necessarily masculine. Again, it's about changing the tone, the frequency, everything, right? It's about, look at it, it's almost like she's shaking up the ground or the flooring, right? Because the Emperor is like the stability, right? It's like the ground, the stability, the structure, right? It's what it is. So it's like we got to kind of, it's getting a little bit warped right now, but I think it's necessary, right? What I see here is, kind of floral. It's like we're kind of rising out of where the frequency or things have been shifted, right? We're figuring out how to turn it more into a symphony than so stern, right? So when we're moving, when we're changing from all the masculine energy into a more feminine energy, which is what you're seeing here. Feminine, not a masculine emperor. Empress. Impressed? Is it impressive? Can you impress me? So it's like we're finding more of a flow, more of a harmony. It's like she's dancing, she's creating more of a symphony. Like that's kind of like a different type of structure, right? Not so many hard edges, right? Now we see the Eight of Materials. So this is basically like the Eight of Pentacles. So this is like the work, the knowledge, the understanding that has come through, right? But it's like what is in the physical is the rose, right? The rose is representatory of the womb of different states like this, right? Different colors have different things. So it's like where, again, where we once were the apprentice or learning, we are now becoming abundant, right? Now look at all of these arms, look at all the reach that we have, right? And we're blooming, blossoming, growing, having the ability. Then we have the Ten of Voices. So this is the Ten of Swords. So it's like, what have we come out of? We've come out of from being the apprentice or this. We've bloomed, we've blossomed from that. We've come out of this space of, the Ten of Voices. The Ten of Swords is more of like, maybe we thought we were under attack, but maybe it was just things that needed healing within ourselves, correct? So this is really about coming to, getting to the bottom, but also coming to the top to get to things, right? Then we have here the Two of Material, right? So we're finding the balance. So what's happening is we found the balance, right? We've figured out how to dance. So on the diamond, right? It's about finding the diamond within, about figuring out how to dance, how to balance, how to bloom, how to blossom. Shining on. Now we have the Three of Emotions. So this is about finally learning how to celebrate now. And this can also mean like some other things. It can mean third party, but here it looks like finding the balance, right? It's like light, dark, centered, After we found the balance and centered ourselves, now we understand that all exists, right? 1 + 1 = 3. Shout out to my friend Rose. And that's kind of what it breaks down to. Now we have the Nine of Materials. So this is like the Nine of Coins. And what we see is the blossoming, the spiraling up, the spiraling out, the blossoming of everything, right? Of the material, of the flowers, of growth, right? This is how I feel. Just like growth, right? It's like blooming, blossoming, like spiraling out, like up, right? In an upward motion. And we have the Three of Inspiration. So this is like generally waiting, just waiting for the ships to come in. But what's happening, we have a 3 here and we have a 3 here. So it's like, is she waiting or is she creating the domino effect? It's like when you create like all the dominoes with the cards and you push one and it's like, and you're waiting for it to unfurl. It's like, that's kind of what's happening. Now she's tipped the first domino. Manifestation, right? 3. And she's kind of letting the wind blow. Like, let's go. Let's knock down all these old constructs and see where the new go. Then we have the Five of Voices. So the Five of Swords, it's like, what have we done? We have finally created peace, right? We have figured out how to create peace with everybody, right? And this comes from creating the peace with self, right? Between the two. I say peace because I see this olive branch up here, and between these two, between the mirror image. This can be between the twins, this can be a lot of different things, but 5 is indefinite change. So when I see voices, it's like the the voices that we may have felt like were against us or under attack or something like this have now come to this very calm, peaceful state of meditation, right? And the things that were feeling dark are now flown away and being entered or delivered this truth, this peace within. Then we have, again, the 8. Look at all these 8s. The 8. So we have strength. Now, you guys know, normally it's about she can tame the lion, but in this case, it's like she came into balance with it because, look, you see her centered on the sun or the moon, we're not sure. She's holding the infinity knot. So she's infinitely balanced and centered, right? You see very geometric, the pyramid, right? The strength comes within the knowledge, what we've learned. The abundance, the strength comes from our ability to tame this also, but also to remain wild at the same time, right? Now we have the page of inspiration. Look at this, so much color, so much rainbow. So this is our passion. Our passion can be like a rainbow, right? A cat. Look at these cats, 2 twin black cats. Now this is, the cats are very symbolic of obviously intuition, of seeing the spirit world, of all these other things. And so anyways, we have the cats that normally people say black cats are bad luck, but actually that is not true. A lot of things that have been taught to us in history and through things have actually been falsifications, right? Just like the number 13, this is the number of the goddess. And they've been writing things in such a way to kind of lead us astray, right? Now, this is more about the balance. Now, what the cats can see is the cats actually see the energy, the aura or the spirit first before they start to see the people. And so they see all these other things. They see all of the magic. And maybe they even see things more like this in patterns and technicolors. Maybe as we're moving into higher levels of density, you know, we are able to tap into more of this, more of the unseen, more of the telepathy, more of this, right? Then we have the Muse of Emotions. So the Muses are actually, I heard the replacement for the King. Okay, so there's no kings in this deck, just the Muse. And so what we see a lot of the times for the King of Cups or emotions is someone that has a lot of emotion, but is also a bit fearful to share or to show it, right? They like to keep it because they have to be the king. They have to mask their emotions. So we're coming in and we're changing things into a more feminine sort of way of being. Now, in this motion, we've found that we can create some waves in the balance, but it can still be in balance. It can still be at peace, right? Now here we see the twins. We see the reflection or the ability. They're holding the star, which is again the wish or the dream. And let's see what's on it. I gotta look a little bit closer. The boat, the ferryman. It looks like the ferryman is under the wish or the dream, kind of bringing us to the new shore. Beautiful. Then we have this deck, which is I can't remember, but this is a beautiful deck. Let me see. I have it here. The White Light Oracle. Interness, luminous heart of the sacred. Okay, the White Light Oracle. Now here we have Serapha of 963 hertz. Okay, so we can listen to this frequency. Again, this is the energy of 21. So this is the energy of 3 manifestation. Then we have 22. I sulfur. 22 again, partnership, duality. It can be four, it could be about the forward movement. But really, what I see here is this is alignment, right? This is alignment with our crown chakra, our third eye, our throat chakra. So might be good to hum or to sing or to do a meditation to this 963 hertz, right? Tune into these spaces. This one, as Sophia Or, number 22. This kind of reminds me of divine moments of truth. If you know, you know. It's really tapping in. 22 again. This duality, this not duality, partnership, right? But also it's a 4, so it's forward movement. Then we have 23, Beta of Spirit Wolf. This is beautiful art. So again, we're highlighting here this throat or heart chakra and crown chakra, right? So tapping in, figuring out what your spirit animal is. Now the wolf, even though they can be lone wolf, they're generally speaking pack animals. So they are always seeking their pack or their tribe also. So tap in, right, to the spirit. This is why I like to call on the angels, the ancestors, everybody to tap in, right? Because we have great spirits that are available to us that would like to assist us, but they cannot assist us unless we call upon them. That's why the prayers to the ancestors are so important. Anapausis. This is number 4. So here I see hands, right? As we go into this space, I see the hands holding, and it's almost like a womb shape. 4, it's about forward movement, right? It's about when we rest. For me, what I feel intuitively is this is kind of the energy of the 4 of Swords, right? Rest, recovery, rejuvenation, also being held from the higher divine. And then, of course, my Naga, Queen of the Nagas, 5. So, Queen of the Nagas. So Nagas can be dragon or snake people, but they're actually like this very higher level of divinity. Now, I think snakes and things like this have gotten a bad rap. Snakes and dragons, we're having the rise of them. They are the Nagas, right? In ancient texts or religions, they are the Nagas. And they bring guidance, clarity. You have to excuse, it's so loud. They bring guidance, clarity, and everything else. So it's like they're able to see, again, like the cats, they're able to kind of tap into higher levels of senses. Now, a lot of people think that they're scary, but they're only scary because, again, the same as like the queen, right? It's like, or the high priestess, it's like they can see. And what they're doing is they're offering the reflection. The same as Medusa, right? This is why she got the bad rap. It wasn't about her, turning people into stone. It was about her offering people their own reflection. And when they saw it, they were scared because they had to come to grips with their own reflection. So I think we're all just guilty of that. It's just part of being human, right? So anyways, Queen of the Nagas. And then we have 6. And this is 5, so it's change, right? So we're changing how we're viewing the femininity, how we're viewing things that have maybe we've been told are a certain way that maybe aren't the way, right? Like maybe they rewrote everything and we're just a series of remembrance, right? We're waking up from this state of remembrance to come in to another state, right? Shekinah. So it's like finally 6, right? The reciprocity. Look at that at 4, 4, 4, 4. The reciprocity, right? The light has hit the crown chakra. Maybe they're crowning. Maybe the reciprocity is crowning the goddess. Finally understanding, right? The balance, the giving and receiving, right? When we honor the proper things, then things will come more into balance. And I think that's a lot of what we have to do within ourselves, right? The balancing of the masculine and femininity is understanding that sometimes there's more work that needs to be done and sometimes there's rest that needs to be done. Shout out to Alchemy Cafe for all the healthy, heady deliciousness of today. Then we have here 41, the golden spiral. So again, 4 and 1 is 5, so it's indefinite change. What is changing? We're spiraling, right? It's golden. Yeah, we golden. Yeah, we golden. 40, forward motion. I don't know. Inti, right? Enter, maybe like enter, moving forward, entering the golden age, spiraling out, right? Spiraling up into the golden age. 39, so this is, it's like countdown. 41, which is 5, the change. 40, which is moving in the forward motion. And 39, look at that, blooming earth. So it's like the countdown. So something that's important to know when you see numbers in sequences, when they're counting up, then it's like we're moving up, we're moving forward, right? When they're decreasing, it's like not reversal, but it's like a countdown, right? It's like time to come. Now it's like, boom, what is it? The blooming earth. Look at that. Matches my little thing. Shout out to my friends in Balboa. Frankie and Justin and all of the people working. This was a cool little gift. The yang yang, right? The yin is the black, the yang is the white. But it's just like also the balance, right? And we see this coming out of the lotus. So we see the balance also blooming, right? Which 3 plus 9 would be 12, which again would be a 3. So it's like the manifestation of the balance of blooming. This is coming from the lotus, and the lotus is blooming from the mud, from the darkness, and to the light, right? Look at this like a sun, and the balance is coming into play. How beautiful. So what I can say is that I see the collective consciousness kind of coming into a better balance and understanding, right? Life is a series of remembrance, right? We can learn things for sure, but it's just a series mostly. For most of us, it's a series of remembering things that we've already experienced that we're just attempting to remind ourselves of. And so may we be more gentle with ourselves, be softer and slower, and allow for the things to come and the remembrance to continue to happen. That way, we can connect better with the world or the cosmos. All right, guys, as always, big love, infinite blessings, love, and light. If you would like to schedule a personal or private reading, I'm kind of floating around, but go ahead and send me an email, DivinityWithinThee at Gmail. And remember, like, comment, subscribe, and share. Help your girl out. Give her some love. And definitely, if you want to, if you're in the vicinity and you want to pull some cards with me, or you're interested in sharing something, knowledge of esotericism or something like this, yeah, I think everybody loves that. So give us a shout out, drop a comment, give a little earth if you can, or a little flower, a little heart. As always, infinite blessings, love, and light. Ciao for now. Zoe out.